listen, your car isn't too old for a backup camera. It's just too old for a bad one. And the reality is, most of that 5-star stuff you see on Amazon, it's designed around a 2019 Civic, not your 2006 Tacoma.
Exactly. And price is wild here. $26? That's literally the cheapest camera on this list, and it sees a massive 149 degrees behind you. Meanwhile, the $120 wireless kit we're going to recommend, that one only sees 110 degrees.
Right, which is definitely not the whole story, and we are going to get to exactly why that is.
But look, here's the absolute main thing you need to hear in these first 30 seconds. One of these 5 picks is the completely wrong buy for roughly half the people watching this right now. It's not the cheap one, and it's not the expensive one either. We'll name it, and we'll tell you exactly who should walk away from it.
Okay, let me tell you why I even care about this in the first place. Last October, I'm backing my father-in-law's '04 Silverado down his driveway. It's a long bed, there's about 15 solid feet of truck behind me, plus a thick hedge on the passenger side. So I do the thing everybody does, arm over the seat, quick mirror check, and I start to roll.
And
Suddenly I hear my wife just scream from the porch. It was the neighbor's kid, 4 years old, chasing a stray soccer ball. He was maybe 6 feet off my rear bumper, and I literally could not see him. Not in the mirror, not looking over my shoulder, just not anywhere. I only stopped because a human being yelled, not because I actually saw anything.
see, that's the part people don't get. That is not a skill problem.
Exactly, it's a geometry problem. That truck has a blind zone behind it so big you could literally park a golf cart in it. I went inside and bought a camera that very weekend. $40. Honestly, I should have done it 15 years earlier.
And the federal numbers back that up hard. If you look at NHTSA's own data for the rear visibility rule, they put backover crashes at 267 deaths and about 15,000 injuries every single year. Kids under 5 make up 31% of those deaths. Adults over 70? That's another 26%.
Think about that. More than half the people killed in backovers are little kids and grandparents. Correct. And that is exactly why the federal rule exists. Every single vehicle built on or after May 1st, 2018, by law has to show the driver a 10-foot by 20-foot zone directly behind the bumper the second you shift into reverse.
Which means if your car is a 2017 or older, the government literally looked at that exact patch of pavement, decided it was dangerous enough to regulate, and your current car just doesn't cover it.
Right, so you've got to remember, you're not retrofitting some fancy luxury feature here. You're retrofitting a critical safety standard that your car just missed by a model year or 10.
All right, let's get into it. 5 picks. And we are going in price order today, not quality order, because the absolute best one genuinely changes based on one single question. And that is, do you already have a screen in your dash?
That's it. That is the whole fork in the road right there. Because if you've got an aftermarket head unit with an RCA video input, well, you just need a $40 solution. But if your dash is rocking a cassette deck and a cigarette lighter, you need a full kit.
Starting at number 5, the eRapta ERT01. You're looking at $25.99 to $28.99 for just the camera.
I'm not kidding, this is the one I recommend to more people than anything else on this entire list, and it happens to be the cheapest thing here.
Well, because it's not really competing with the full kits. It's a license plate camera that comes with a 26-foot RCA cable. It runs on 12 to 24 volts, so it's going to take truck voltage without complaining at all. You get a 149-degree lens, it's IP69 case sealed, and it packs 10 LEDs that kick on automatically when it gets power.
Okay, real use case here. Say you bought a Pioneer or a Kenwood head unit like 3 years ago because your factory radio died. Well, that screen already has a camera input just sitting completely unused behind the dash. You spend $26, take one afternoon, and you're totally done.
The only catch is the bracket itself. It's a fixed plate mount, so if you want a different viewing angle, you are out there physically bending metal.
Which honestly sounds way worse than it is. You bend it exactly once, in your driveway, and it takes about 90 seconds.
I literally watched you bend one too far and then have to carefully bend it back.
And I literally watched you spend $170 just to avoid bending anything, so let's call it even.
Fair point. Also, definitely worth knowing that IP69K rating is the absolute top of the ingress scale. We're talking high pressure, high temperature water resistance. That is a heavy-duty car wash spec, not just a light drizzle spec.
Moving to number 4, the LeeKooLuu LK3. This one floats around $36 to $46 depending on the week.
So this is the complete kit version of that exact same idea. You get the camera plus a 4.3-inch monitor right in the box.
It's 1080p, has that 149-degree lens, IP69K rating, 6 glass lenses, and infrared LEDs that only actually fire when the ambient light sensor says it's truly dark. And here is the number that really matters to me: 2-year replacement warranty.
Which is kind of crazy on a $40 product. That is actually better coverage than AUTO-VOX gives you at 3 times the price.
Yeah, AUTO-VOX is a 12-month warranty with a 6-month extension if you bother to register it. They have great support, for sure, but it's a much shorter clock. Now, the LK3 is a wired kit, and I really want to be honest about what wired means on an older vehicle. You are running a physical video cable all the way from the tailgate up to the dash. That means tucking it under the trim, running it along the door sill, up the A-pillar, the whole 9 yards.
Look, it's 2 hours if it's your first time doing it, 45 minutes the second time. But the massive upside? It will never drop signal, it'll never lag, and it will never, ever care that your neighbor's got a super strong Wi-Fi extender.
Beginner tip here, and this is genuinely the best one we've got for you today. Before you route a single inch of that cable, hook the whole system up loose in the trunk and test it. Camera on, monitor on, shift the car into reverse, because if the image is upside down, you really want to find that out now, not after you've painstakingly pulled 4 trim panels.
I have personally pulled 4 trim panels twice in one day. Please learn from my pain.
Speaking of pain, there is one tiny part in this install that ruins more backup cameras than every manufacturing defect combined. It costs about $5, it comes right in the box with half these kits, and almost everybody uses it. We'll tell you exactly what it is and what you should be using instead before we wrap up today. All right, number 3, the AUTO-VOX CS2, $119.99.
You get a 4.3-inch monitor, digital wireless transmission, an IP68 camera, and honestly, the real reason people pay up for this one is the sensor. It uses a PC1058 chip that's rated all the way down to 0.1 lumen.
Go ahead and translate that for us.
Picture an unlit gravel driveway. No street light, no porch light, literally just the glow of your reverse bulbs. That is exactly where a cheap sensor turns the screen into a bowl of gray soup. But this one actually still gives you a usable image.
And here's where it really gets interesting, because this is the specific thing that costs people money and nobody actually says it out loud.
Say it.
Wireless does not mean no wires.
Say it again for the guy with the online shopping cart open right now.
Listen, the CS2 is only wireless between the camera in the back and the monitor up front. The camera itself still has to be hardwired to your reverse light. You are still opening up the taillight housing, you are still finding a solid ground. The only thing you actually skip is that long cable run up to the dash.
Which, to be fair, on a hatchback or an SUV is the truly miserable part. That long cable has to somehow cross the tailgate hinge and flex every single time you open the trunk.
Right, exactly. So the CS2 really earns its money on a Honda CR-V or Jeep Grand Cherokee. But on a sedan with a standard solid trunk lid, you're basically paying $80 extra just to skip a cable run that wasn't even hard in the first place.
And you've got to consider the trade-off with a lens. It's 110 degrees versus 149 on that cheap eRapta. That is a real noticeable difference at the far corners of your bumper.
Which is exactly why the $26 camera beats it on paper, but completely loses in a dark parking garage. Both of those things are true at the same time. Quick aside here for one very specific viewer. If you already own a Garmin GPS sitting on your windshield, look into the Garmin BC50 instead. It's $200, gives you a 160-degree lens, a massive 50-foot wireless range, and it throws the camera feed right onto the screen you've already got mounted. No need for a second display cluttering up your dash.
Let's hit number 2, the AUTO-VOX Solar 3A Plus, $129.99.
Now, this is the one where you genuinely do not touch a single wire. Not one.
It's a literal 2-minute install. The camera just clamps right onto your existing license plate bolts, the 5-inch monitor sticks to the windshield, and it runs straight off the cigarette lighter. You're done.
Spec-wise, you get 180p, an IPS anti-glare screen, that IP69K waterproof rating, a massive 5,000 mAh battery, 52-foot wireless range, and here's the kicker, a solar panel built right onto the camera body that actively tops it off while you drive. AUTO-VOX rates it at about 3 to 4 months per charge.
For someone renting or leasing, or just a person who knows they're honestly never going to mess with their taillight wiring, this is the definitive answer. No drilling required, nothing to undo when the car eventually goes back.
And if you want an upgrade, the max version is $159.99. That bumps you up to a big 7.2-inch screen, gives you dual antennas, and even adds DVR loop recording.
But now I have to close that loop we opened at the very start of the explainer, because this is the specific pick that's totally wrong for half of you watching.
Go for it.
Look, solar power only works if actual sunlight hits the panel. If you park inside a garage and your commute is only 20 minutes each way, that solar panel is doing almost nothing for you. You're entirely relying on the battery, and you're going to be out there recharging it by hand every few weeks just like a dead cell phone.
Plus, the operating range is -4 to 145 Fahrenheit. Yes, it physically survives a Minnesota January. But we all know lithium battery capacity absolutely tanks in the real cold, So that advertised 3 to 4 months suddenly turns into something a whole lot shorter by February.
Exactly. So garage parker in Chicago with a really short commute, skip it entirely. Just buy the LK3 and run the physical cable. But a Sunbelt driver who parks outside, or really anybody who just wants zero permanent modification to their vehicle, it is without a doubt the best 2 minutes you'll ever spend working on a car. All right, number 1 on price, the WOLFBOX G840S. You're looking at $140 to $170 depending on where you catch a sale.
Now, this is Marcus's top pick, and honestly, I'm just gonna let him have it because he's actually right on this one.
Thank you very much. Look, it's a 12-inch mirror dash cam. It literally just clips right over your existing rearview mirror. You're getting a 4K 2160p front camera with a 170-degree field of view, plus the rear camera on a 20-foot cable. And it does split screen so you can see both feeds at the exact same time.
The main thing that sold me on it is the dash real estate. Think about it. On a 2008 Camry, you've probably already got a phone mount, maybe a radar detector up there. This system adds a high-end camera and takes up absolutely zero new space.
And remember, you aren't just buying a backup camera here. You're buying a full dual dash cam system. It's got 24/7 parking monitoring, and the emergency recording automatically locks the footage starting 28 seconds before an impact and 20 seconds after.
That is totally the part for the gearhead enthusiast, and honestly, for anybody who's ever been rear-ended and had it turn into their word against the other guys. Out of the box, it ships with a 32 GB SD card, a GPS bracket, an 11.5-foot power cable, and even a little trim tool, plus an 18-month warranty if you buy it direct. Let's give them the honest downside, though. Because it's a mirror replacement, at night some people do get a bit of glare from the headlights behind them until they really get the screen brightness dialed in right. You gotta give it a solid week of driving before you decide you hate it.
Right, and if your car has an auto-dimming factory mirror, you are covering that thing up, so you lose that feature completely.
All right, time for What We Wish We Knew. This is a segment that actually saves you the money.
Number 1, and yep, this is that $5 part we mentioned earlier. Quick splice T-taps. They're those little blue plastic clamp things that come right in the box with these kits.
Oh man, they work absolutely great for about 8 months.
Exactly. Then moisture gets inside, the metal blade completely corrodes, and your camera just starts randomly cutting out. And I promise you will swear the camera itself failed. It didn't. The cheap little connector failed.
Do yourself a favor. Solder and heat shrink the wires if you can. If you don't know how to solder, at least use a proper crimp butt connector that has adhesive-lined shrink tubing on it. It costs maybe $2 more and it lasts 10 years longer. Number 2, do not try to identify your reverse wire just by looking at the color. Grab a test light or a cheap $12 multimeter. Turn the key on, keep your foot firmly on the brake, shift into reverse, and probe around until you find the specific wire that only goes hot when you're in reverse.
Yep, I actually tapped into a running light on a Ford Ranger once by mistake. The camera was powered on all day, every single day, totally killed the battery in about a week.
Number 3, and this is a really sneaky one on older cars. If somebody previously swapped in LED reverse bulbs, those LEDs draw so incredibly little current that some cameras end up getting a really weak, flickering feed off that circuit. The fix is super simple. Create a clean chassis ground directly onto bare metal. Physically scrape the paint away. Do not just ground it to a painted bolt and call it a day.
A bad ground is literally the #1 cause of a rolling or flickering camera image, and people return perfectly good cameras over that exact issue every single day.
Number 4, please clean the lens right after you install it. You literally just manhandled the thing with greasy garage hands. That terrible night image you're currently judging, it might honestly just be your own thumbprint.
And number 5, this is for the budget shopper specifically. Do not buy a full kit if you already have a screen in your dash, and do not buy just a camera-only setup if you don't. That single, totally avoidable mismatch is easily the most common $40 mistake in this entire product category.
All right, time for the verdicts. My pick is the WOLFBOX G840S. For $170, you are getting a backup camera, a 4K dash cam, and 24/7 parking surveillance, all packed into one single part that occupies space you are already using anyway. Just nothing else here does 3 jobs that well.
And my pick is the LeeKooLuu LK3, and honestly, I am not even close to changing my mind. $40, 1080p resolution, 149 degrees of visibility, and a 2-year warranty. It solves the exact problem that almost put me in the absolute worst day of my life in that driveway, and it costs less than filling up the gas tank on the truck that nearly caused it.
You're paying $40 to see a 4-year-old.
I'm paying $40